Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boscheman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we are going to take a look at each of the personal months for February 2023. And we're going to take a look at how to best work with that energy with the universal month, as well as the full and the new moons that we have coming up in February. Now, I do want to mention these are different from the life path energies. So the calculations are also very different. So please be sure to check the description box below for the calculation. Do your calculation before listening to your personal month, right? Just to make sure, of course, that you're listening to the right one. If you don't want to wait to see what the next 12 months could have in store for you energetically, book your personal year ahead forecast now and take a deep dive into your own personal year ahead. You can book some time with me for that in the description box below. As always, this is a general reading. If you would like a personalized reading or a coaching session with numerology, please, again, book some time with me. My information is in the description box below. You can book some time with me through my website. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And of course, timestamps are below, so you can skip ahead once you have done your calculation and you know which one you're listening for. All right, let's take a look. Personal month number 1. If you are working with a personal energy of 1 this month for February, then you will more than likely see this as an opportunity for big new starts, an opportunity to take the initiative on something that maybe you've been wanting to be a little bit more assertive with. This is a time to find your voice, to use that voice, to make big adjustments and big changes. To find your confidence, however you can do that, however that works for you. This is also a time where you may see new opportunities for collaborations coming in to work with others, but you would have to sort of maintain the integrity of that project, because with 1 energy, this is a very self-driven, very ambitious energy, and typically you're taking some kind of action or putting forth some type of energy on a vision or a creation that's yours. So you could be calling in people to collaborate with at this time, and you may see people show up at your door for that. Just make sure that you are maintaining the integrity of that vision and that you're not losing sight of that goal. This can also be a time when you have some kind of important conversation where you may need to initiate that, right? And again, sort of stand your ground. This is a very strong energy, again, for like finding your voice, using your voice, not necessarily backing down if it's something you really believe in or something that's very true for you. Now, again, there's also a way to do that so that you're not plowing over others or stepping on others to get to where you need to be. There's definitely an energy of needing to work alongside of others as well. But this can absolutely be a month of feeling like there's a clean slate and you have an opportunity to create something or build something or initiate something new and exciting, and that may require you to take a big risk, and that's okay. Now, it's interesting because there's also a universal energy of 9 this month, which means collectively, this is what we're working with. So collectively, and this would include you as well, you may see things coming to a close at this time, but that closure, because you're working with 1 energy also, would really be clearing the path for you to start whatever this is. So you may see some things fall away now or come to completion, but just keep in mind that needs to occur to create the space so that you can initiate or, again, sort of step upon that platform or that stage to do the work that you need to do or to create whatever it is that you're trying to create. So don't be surprised if you're sort of asked to find the balance between receptivity and action and surrender and taking the initiative type thing this month. So, and if you see some things, like I said, close out to make space for the new. Now, we do have a full moon that's occurring on February 5th or 6th, depending on where you live within the world. With this energy, you all are going to be working with the energies of the 6 and the 7. So you could see a strong focus around this full moon on deeper relationships, on the home life, again, changes within the home. You also may meet someone who feels like a soulmate. Now, again, that can be doesn't have to be romantic. That can be a friendship, a colleague. It can be a pet coming in. It can be finding a power, meeting or a power animal coming into your awareness to work with. That spiritual sort of energetic energy of a specific animal could come into your awareness. Because it's the 6 and the 7, there's definitely this very practical side of this energy, but also a very ethereal, very spiritual, very sort of like guided energy or protective sort of energy coming in as well, but as it has to do with a home. So again, you may start a business from home that is, again, more metaphysical, or that is... it could be on the more practical side as well, but definitely some changes potentially coming in around this full moon. It's illuminating something within the home. So if you work from home, if you work within the metaphysical sciences, or if you work in sort of a more practical side of life, then again, you may see some changes come in around that as it has to do with the home. So this could very well be like you're moving your office from a brick and mortar separate location into the home, and you're working remote, or vice versa. So some kind of change with the home may come up around this full moon for you. But again, because you're in a personal month of 1, there's something here where you would need to take the initiation. You would need to sort of stand out or make that decision and be very like sort of bold in that and stand to it, right? Stick with it. Now, on February 20th, we have a new moon. So again, this is sort of like new starts, new beginnings type thing, as it has to do with creativity, communication, potentially travel, possibly children as well, but that's not coming in as strongly. So definitely something here where, again, you are in a personal month of 1, working with the energy of the 3. So there's something here about big, fresh new starts with a creative project, potentially with communication. So if you are writing a book or want to write a book or are thinking about it, this would be a great time to start that. This might be a time when you get a publisher, or you try to figure out how to publish it on your own, or whatever the case may be. If it doesn't have to be a book, that's just an example, but of course it could be some kind of creative project. So with 3 energy, the creative life force is moving through you, or it wants to. And so because you're in a personal month of 1, this would be big new starts in communication. This can also be new communication coming through that allows you to gain clarity so that you can move forward in a very assertive way, right? Creatively. And also, again, because it's highlighting communication, I would say you may need to initiate communications now. You may need to reach out to the people that you want assistance from, or that you want to work with. This is a time to be bold. This is a month for you all to be bold, to take those risks. Calculated risks if you need to, that's fine. But this is a time for you to find your confidence, dig deep if you have to. Find that confidence and go after whatever it is that you want to go after at this time. And definitely around this new moon, because again, it's very much highlighting communication, networking, interacting with others, working with others. But again, that communication piece. So the written and the spoken word. So great time to, again, take the bull by the horns and blaze that trail, go after what it is that you want to, but more than likely you are probably going to have to be the one that's initiating that. This can also be initiating those difficult conversations where you need to let someone go, or again, like release someone, because you're also working with that 9 energy, or release a project, or let a project go, or let a business go, or something like that. But you are going to be the one making that decision, taking the action, and really sort of holding the vision, right, of what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and understanding that there are going to be some things that need to fall away in order to bring the new, more elevated, more aligned things and people and places in. So big month for you if you are in a personal month of 1 in February. Take care, everyone. Personal month of 2. If you are in a personal 2 month, then this month you could see things come in where to do with the relationships, so relating with other people. Again, this doesn't necessarily have to be like romantic relationships, and more times than not, it has to do more with, again, how we relate to others. So colleagues, work, work, business partnerships, romantic relationships, family, friends, etc. This can be a month of bringing people together, bringing ideas together, the merging of certain ideas, certain things. This could be you taking a relationship to the next level. Mending of relationships could come in really strongly for you all this month. So again, trying to see eye to eye, find common ground, find the harmony or create the harmony and balance within a relationship. That doesn't mean that you necessarily have to interact with that person. It could be that you're healing that relationship energetically, maybe going to therapy, maybe doing some energetic work, whatever works for you. But there's a very big call for healing and mending of relationships so that you can move forward and the other person can move forward in a healthy way, whether that's together or apart. There's also this energy because collectively we're working with the energy of the 9. It's a universal 9 month of February. So you could see some closure come in around, again, relationships, things where there might have been some disharmony, harmony coming in, but in order for that to happen, it may be that you need to release something, let something go. There's also something here about really becoming the observer when you're working in a 2 personal month and working with 9 universal energy. There's something about becoming the observer, not getting too emotionally involved with situations. So really trying to find a channel for any of that charged energy that is emotions. Because with a 2 personal month, this can be a highly sensitive month. So find a way to work with that energy in a productive and positive way so that you're still expressing it, but you're expressing it in a way that is beneficial as opposed to more destructive. So pay attention to your emotions this month, to your sensitivity, to your relationships, because more than likely there's going to be some themes coming up around that. Now, you may meet someone at this time who becomes a very big teacher in your life. That can be uncomfortable or comfortable. That is also very possible. But anything that kind of comes in for you this month is trying to offer some kind of greater awareness, again, in becoming the observer, removing yourself, not getting too emotionally involved, and not taking sides if you don't have to, right? So again, becoming sort of the mediator within your own life and within other experiences and other situations. That's very, very possible. You may be called to do that. You may also find that people come to you more often this month, looking for advice or looking for assistance with something. And so your goal is to help them to find the harmony and the balance within the situation, as opposed to going in and bringing the gossip or bringing the divisiveness, right? That's very possible. So we do have on February 5th or 6th, depending on where you live within the world, we do have a full moon. And for you all, this is bringing the energy of the 7 and the 8. So there's something here with when it comes to potentially like career, business, finding a way to express those big ideas that you may have in a very sort of tangible, practical way. So business may come into your awareness quite strongly, as well as finances, money management. But more than likely, there's also going to be some kind of inspiration or bigger idea come in how to work with that, right? So pay attention to that. Don't be too quick to dismiss it. Again, this is a month for observing, for sort of surrendering, but also being an active participant. So finding your balance there. The other key to this, with being in a 2 personal month, is finding your balance, right? So there could be things wherever there is imbalance, finding ways to achieve that balance, right? And so with this full moon, working with the energies of the 7 and the 8, same thing. You're sort of becoming the bridge, finding your center when it comes to those sort of more big, powerful energies of the 8. So business, money, resources, status, any of those sort of things, the physical body, the spiritual body as well, the spiritual essence, finding balance within all of these things, finding your own harmony, because when you find that balance, now of course you'll deviate from that on and off, right? But once you find it, you know what it feels like. And so then it's a little bit easier to come back to it. So the energy of the 7 and the 8 of this full moon may assist you in that. But again, it's sort of like the focus is being put really on business, money management, resources, business relationships, all of those things. So if there's anywhere that feels out of balance within those areas, or that you feel like you're not really tapping into the full potential in some of those areas, this is a great time to really, kind of become the observer, take a closer look at things, but from a bigger, broader perspective. Now we have a new moon on February 20th for you all, or for all of us, but for you all, you're working with the energy of the 4. And so this energy with the new moon, this is new starts, but this is very much around the physical body potentially, or the physical home, right? Like the structure. There could be a lot that comes in around the foundations here. So again, pay attention to anything that comes up for you around imbalance with the body, right? So if something feels off, if you don't feel good, if there's something crops up that just kind of is nagging, get it checked out, just have a look at it, right? Same thing with the home, the structure. If there's something that comes up that's not balanced within the home or with the actual physical structure, it may be that you need to get a contractor out and have them look at it type thing. So definitely pay attention to that so it doesn't create turn into a bigger problem. This would be definitely a month potentially for that. There's also this energy here with the 4th, the new moon, to remind you to sort of find your patience, to be patient with the things that you're working on, to also pay attention to the finer details. So again, this is a little bit like push-pull energy. You've got the energy of the 2 that's asking you to see things from a broader perspective. Then at the new moon, you have the energy of the 4 that's asking you to pay attention to the details. So I would say, again, find your balance between the two. Don't overlook the finer details, but don't overlook the broader perspective, right? Seeing things through that greater lens. When you can find a way to merge those two and to really honor both sides of that energy, you're on your A game. The world is at your feet type thing. So this is beautiful energy, especially if you're trying to create something or build something, or again, relationships as well. Pay attention to the finer details, as well as becoming the observer and not getting too emotionally involved. 4 energy is asking you to get organized, to pay attention to the systems, be more pragmatic, be a little bit more focused with your energy. So if you feel like things have been sort of all over the place, this is a great time to get serious, get focused, and get in it for the long haul, whatever it is that you're trying to work on here. And again, this can translate very easily to relationships because you are in a personal 2 month. So beautiful energy here, especially for taking a closer look at the fault lines and cleaning that up and just getting a stronger foundation so that whatever it is that you're building on a strong foundation and it can last a lot longer, right? Last the test of time type thing. So beautiful energies for you all for February. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Okay, if you are in a personal month of 3, this can be in February, it can be a very social period. So you could see your social calendar sort of fill up this month. This can be a great time for getting yourself out there as far as networking, again, collaboration, putting starting a YouTube channel, starting a podcast, anything to do with communication, anything that will help you to be seen and get your wisdom out into the world. This is a great month for writing a book or being very creative in your self-expression. So how it is that you want to express your big ideas or express your wisdom or express your life experiences, whatever comes up for you, this is a great month to, again, be seen, be heard, and and possibly even get some acknowledgement and recognition for your contributions. So this can be beautiful energy for that as well. But definitely this can be a social period. So this can be a time where you notice that you're getting a lot more invites to things, or you're meeting a lot of new people, or you are throwing more parties or get-togethers or after-work events or whatever the case may be. But you're just sort of integrating into the community more, right? Or the public a bit more. And so great energy for that. So this is definitely not a month to make yourself small, to stay hidden away. Whatever you need to do to get yourself out there, this is a great month to do it. It may feel uncomfortable, but that's okay. 3 energy is big energy, and it's going to it's not going to force you, but it's going to encourage you to get out there, to mingle. This can be a great month for definitely meeting great business partners, meeting people with similar values. Collaboration is coming in really, really strongly. So if you have an opportunity to do that, this is a great month to do it. Also, this is a great month to really express yourself creatively, to really let your inner authentic self shine through, whether it's how you dress or how, what kind of events you go to, or whatever comes in for you to express yourself in your most authentic, creative way. This is a great month for that. You may see a lot come through with communication as well this month. So you might get a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls, or those very important emails or phone calls that could lead to something much bigger. So pay attention to what comes in for you as far as communication. You could find that people you haven't talked to in a long time sort of resurface, or again, like new relationships come in where you feel like you have open dialogue, where it's the communication is very strong. That can happen. That's incredibly beautiful as well. Travel could come in a lot for you all this month. So if you have an opportunity to travel for work or for pleasure, this is a great month to do that. Especially you may meet someone when you do that. So that could be fun as well. But this is really a time to express yourself creatively and find your joy, and just really enjoy your interactions with others, right? And surround yourself with people who have similar values and who might have strengths where you have limitations. Now, we're also working in a 9 universal month for February, so you may see some things come to completion or come to closure or fall away at this time. So you may get some communication that says this isn't working any longer, we need to close this out, or you may need to communicate that something's not working and it needs closure, so that you can create space for something new to come in, or for those big creative projects to begin. That is very possible as well. The other thing with it being a 9 universal month, coupled with your 3 personal month, is that this can be, again, a time for really working with and communicating with and getting your message across to the greater community, right? Like a greater population. So that can be incredibly beautiful and inspiring and empowering. So it's how you, of course, use that energy, but that's very possible. Now, February 5th or 6th, depending on where you live in the world, we have a full moon. So for you all, this is bringing in the energy of the 8 and the 9. So absolutely, you've got this really strong creative power of the 3. Then you've got this full moon that's illuminating the 8 and the 9. So there's something here around creation, creativity, self-expression, business, resources, power, finances, as it relates to the greater good, the greater community, the all, right? So there's definitely something here where you may have an opportunity to build something, create something, give advice for something, offer your assistance on something, help to bring justice to the underserved. Any of those things could come in at this time. Or again, you may see this sort of influx of clients, or again, like an opportunity to work within the community in a bigger way that feels very aligned for you, but that also is very much aligned with what people need, right? Solutions that people need. This is beautiful, beautiful energy. So if an opportunity comes up for you to create something or to get involved within a business that has a greater purpose, so like, again, like more humanitarian, this is a great energy around this full moon to do that. Or if you have big ideas At this time, you may see things because with 9 energy, the channel is wide open to the spiritual realm. So you may see big inspiring ideas come in for your business and your creative self-expression. This is a great time to do something with that, right? To take charge and to again network and get those ideas out there. Now, on February 20th, we have a new moon. And for you all, this is bringing in the energy of the 5. So this is interesting. I really see this as potentially an opportunity for some change and some transformation. But as it relates to, again, like your creativity, your self-expression, because again, you are in a personal month of 3. So that coupled with a 5, this is big, explosive energy, very social, again, opportunity for travel and expansion. There could be this call for or this need for freedom and feeling like you're able to express yourself in a way that feels very authentic, that you're not being restricted, that you're not being confined. This is beautiful energy for that. And so if there are any areas that have sort of become stagnant or mundane that don't need to be, this 5 energy around this new moon, coupled with that of your personal 3 month, is just going to potentially just bust things wide open, where it's like you're able to run free. You feel like you have creative direction. You feel like you're able to have a voice in that creation. And you were at the helm of that ship. So this is incredibly beautiful for that. This is also at the new moon in sort of enticing you to experience life with all of your senses. It's sort of begging you to find your joy and through that joy, create the things that you want to create. And remember, it's not always about what happens with that creation. It's about the process, right? Like enjoying that process. So beautiful energies around this new moon for just wide open space to express yourself in a way that feels really, really good. And who knows what will come of it, but it's just that feeling and that joy that can bring, right? And that fulfillment, that sense of fulfillment. So incredibly beautiful energies that you all are working with at this time. The only thing I would say definitely, because especially around this new moon, is to be sure that you're finding your balance and doing things in moderation, because it's very easy when you have 5 energy coupled with 3 energy to just, go all out and live in an extreme, right? Or you could fall on the shadow side of that and just really become more reclusive and sort of fall into more self-deprivation. And so you just want to be sure that you're finding your balance, right? You're working with these energies to their fullest, but in a way where you're not depleting yourself either. All right, so I hope it's a beautiful February for you all. Take care. Personal month 4. If you are currently in February in a personal month of 4, this could be a month where you feel like things are slowing down a little bit, where you're being asked, this is a checkpoint month, really. This is a time to check your foundation, to make sure that, whatever it is that you're working on, that there's integrity behind it, that you feel like, that you're building on solid ground type thing, right? So this is going to be a time where you need to kind of get more serious, more dedicated, more focused on whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. This can also bring in things around body, so the physical body, or like a home environment, but the actual physical structure. So pay attention to anything that crops up for you, maybe a leaky roof, or again, something like a window that needs to be sealed or whatever. Just pay attention to whatever comes in for you. This energy is trying to point out where there are fault lines, or where, it's where the structure is not secure. So pay attention to that and take care of it now so it doesn't get worse. Same thing with your body. If there's anything that comes up with the actual physical body that is of concern or just kind of nagging, this is a great time to get that checked out as well. This is also an energy to check in with yourself to see, are the things that you're doing, are the things that you're pursuing, the things that you're focused on, where you're expending your energy, are you moving from the heart center for the most part, right? Like, is it something that speaks to you, that calls to you, that still brings that sort of level of feeling like you're aligned with whatever it is that you're investing your energy into? And that can be relationships, career, purpose, whatever. this energy, this 4-month, will often ask us to take a closer look at that. And sometimes it will also bring that divine intervention where if there is somewhere where we're continuing down a path that is faulty or not aligned, there could be that divine intervention or that sort of tower moment that comes in to release us from whatever that is so that we can adjust and go down a path that's much more sound or much more aligned with where it is that our soul wants to go. And I say that also because we are currently in, or February is a universal 9-month. And so again, there is potentially some opportunities for things to fall away, for things to come to completion, for things to close out. And sometimes we need a little help from the universe to do that because we're either too attached to whatever it is, or we've invested so much time and energy into something that the ego steps in and tells us we should keep going type thing. So this is going to be, like I said, really a checkpoint month for you all to just check in and make sure that what it is that you're pursuing is what you still want to be pursuing. Where you're investing your energy is where you want to be investing your energy. Now, when we're in a 4 cycle, again, things sort of slow down so that we can catch our breath, so that we can pause and again, take a closer look at the finer details to make sure that we are building something of value, building something authentic to ourselves, right? For ourselves that can potentially benefit others, right? But there's definitely this energy of slowing it down, not trying to get so quick to the end goal, but paying attention to the process, right? And this is a great month also to get organized. So if there's anywhere within your life or your body, right, where you feel like things have become more chaotic or sort of gone under the radar type thing, this is a great month to pay attention to that, get it under control, get it to where it feels good again. It's a great month to do that. Now, also, I will say this can also feel like a very intuitive month. So pay attention to what comes in for you intuitively. Trust yourself when it comes to that, right? Like sometimes with 4 energy, it does kind of feel more heavier, like physical, but it's when it's balanced, it's very much very intuitive as well. So it's like the intuition leads the physical type thing, and so you may be called to do that. So pay attention to your intuitive hits that come in this month as well. Now, we do have a full moon that's occurring on the 5th or the 6th of February, depending on where you live within the world. For you all, this is bringing in the energy of the 9, sort of a double dose because we're already in it in February universally, and the 10-1. So I've already sort of touched on what that 9 could sort of pose or bring in. Again, completion, surrender, sort of allowing things to sort of come to you type thing. So I'm not going to spend too much time on that for the full moon for you all. I would say probably for you all, especially around a full moon where this like sort of indicates some kind of completion, that 9 energy is going to probably bring some kind of closure for something, especially around this full moon. But just know whatever that closure is needs to be removed to make space or for the redirect, right, to occur. So it's in your best interest. But then you've got the 10-1 energy. And so this is about big new starts, taking initiative, being assertive, going after what you want, being very clear about what you want, finding that confidence. And also you've got the energy, it's a 10-1. So you've got the energy of the 0, which is very much a clean slate. So it's almost like this 9, this potent, strong 9 energy that you all are working with this month. Alongside of that 4 energy, which is like teacher, builder kind of energy. The 10, that 0, gives you the clean slate. So the 9 clears the path and the 0 comes in to say, okay, you've got a clean slate. Here's all the tools that you need to be able to create whatever it is that you want to create or build whatever it is that you want to build. What are you going to do with it? So around this full moon, not only could there be some things falling away, but it's almost like immediately new things come in, but you're an active participant in that. So make sure that what it is that you want to build or create feels aligned for you and feels aligned with your heart center. That's going to be really, really important for you all. Now, we also have a new moon around February 20th. And for you all, it's bringing in the energy of the 6th. So around this new moon, you could see big new things sort of come in around the home or Very personal relationships. So like your partner, your very close friends, or your family, or your very close-knit community. There could be some major changes or new starts. It doesn't have to be changes, but big new starts in that area of your life around this new moon. And because again, it's like you're working with the 4 energy this month, this very much brings that focus very much concentrated into the home, or again, the physical structure of the home. But you could see people moving in, people moving out, people needing your assistance more this month, or especially around this new moon. This could be, you could find out that you're having a baby, or a partner's having a baby, or a friend or family is having a baby, and you're going to be the godparent or whatever, right? It's those more intimate relationships. But this could bring, again, big new starts, big new unexpected starts around this new moon. So pay attention to anything that kind of comes in for you. It could be a child who's leaving home to go to school or something like that, or getting a job, and so they're out of the home more, or they end up moving to their own place. Again, anything to do with like the home, and big new starts could come in. Could also be around finances. So you could see like your day-to-day routine sort of change, and in turn that changes your finances. So it could be some things come in around career. You could start working from the home, and that could, change your finances as well. That is very possible. But again, we are working with that 9 universal energy. So there could be some things coming to completion around the home so that new things can come in. It could also bring up conversations that need to be had around the home, where we've maybe been sweeping it under the rug. And now it's like with this 4 energy and the 9 energy and the 6 energy, that's all coming to light. It needs to be dealt with. The foundation needs to be healed, whatever that is, so that again, as you move forward, you're moving forward in a way that feels good, feels aligned, and is a direction that you want to be moving forward in. So big month for February for anyone with a personal month of 4. Take care. Personal month 5, if you are currently in February, a personal month of 5, this can be a cycle that brings about a lot of change, a lot of shifts, unexpected and expected. Anytime we have a 5 cycle, there's usually, even if it's a shorter cycle, there's usually some kind of lightning bolt, like aha moment, or shift in perspective, or shift in an experience that can come in, and it can come in really abruptly and unexpectedly. And so we are really just meant, when we're in a 5 cycle, to go with the flow, to be as adaptable as possible. And so I would say definitely whatever February sort of serves up, it's up to you to figure out how to work with that, how to become adaptable, how to, again, like move through that energy in a way that's beneficial. Because anytime we're in a 5 cycle, it's always shifting us in a way that is most, into a direction that is most aligned with our higher self, and like the direction our soul wants to be moving into. So it's never working against us. It's always working for us, even though it can be very uncomfortable. And because we're also in a 9 universal cycle, for February, again, this could bring some completion. This could bring some things to closure, and quite abruptly. But anything that comes to closure, anything that falls away, and as cliche as it sounds, but needs to fall away, right? And whether we just didn't have the sort of I don't want to say control, like we didn't have the will or whatever or the intention to release whatever that is. Sometimes that lightning bolt sort of divine intervention has to come in to release it for us. And so anytime we're in a 5 cycle, we can sort of expect the unexpected. Not always, but often. And it doesn't have to be a bad thing or something to fear, right? It can be, you get an opportunity to travel, and you go and you travel, and your perspective shifts, and your mind is opened wide to a new culture, new belief systems, new ideologies, whatever works for you. That's incredibly possible, where you could get an opportunity to go travel and you meet the love of your life. There's like all these very possible unexpected sort of synchronicities and coincidences and changes that can just crop up out of the blue with 5 energy. So be prepared for the unexpected as much as you can be, right? And what I mean by that is usually we can't prepare for it. It's kind of like with 5 energy, we have to release control and just see what shows up and work with it to the best of our ability and learn through that process. Again, you could also see travel come up. You could also see this as an opportunity to express yourself in a much more freeing way. You might have the desire to break free from things that have started to feel more mundane or stagnant. That's very possible. So I would definitely say, when it comes to 5 cycles, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Take your time if you can, and before you make sort of like drastic rash decisions, because 5 energy can bring impulsivity as well. So just be really mindful of like what you're saying yes to, what you're saying no to, because it may feel really good in the moment, but then down the road it might not feel so good. So again, just be really mindful of, again, like the decisions that you're making, what you're releasing, what you're bringing in. Just make sure it feels right. Just make sure it feels aligned for you, right? Now, again, we are in that 9 energies universally, so there could be something that falls away for you now, or again, comes to completion, that sort of thing. But again, just remember, if it does, it's because it's meant to at this time, that its contract is over with you. Its experience is over with you at this time. And that just means something new is coming in. There's a new adventure becoming. And if there's anything that 5 energy loves, it's an adventure. So be prepared for that. Okay, so we have a full moon that's occurring on February 5th or 6th, depending on where you live within the world. For you all, it's bringing in the energy of the 10-1 and the 11-2. And this is so beautiful, especially when you're in a 5 universal cycle. I'm sorry, a 5 personal cycle. So 10-1 energy, this is like clean slate. This is like you've got this white canvas, or this clear canvas, and you have all the colors in the world that you want to play with. And this is giving you free, the green light to play with it, to explore, to let your inner child run free, and to take direction from your inner child, as opposed to the all serious adult, right? And so this 10-1 around this full moon, again, is like saying, okay, the world is your oyster. What do you want to do? What do you want to create? So this is very inspiring energy, because you also have the energy of the 11-2, which is inspiration, right? The inspirational leader. So you are absolutely, with this 5 energy, this 10-1, and this 11-2 energy, around this full moon, you are absolutely just given free rein to create what you want to create, to explore, to go on a new adventure, and find your joy and your bliss, and sink into that. Put your teeth right into it, right? Just enjoy it. Which is sometimes easier said than done when it's 5 energy, because usually that comes with some change, right? And humans struggle with change a lot of times. So it's finding the comfortableness within the uncomfortableness, and finding your joy through that process as well. But this 10-1 and this 11-2 energy is allowing you to, again, like free rein to just explore, to have fun with it, and see what you can create, see what you're capable of. This is beautiful, beautiful energy. So take advantage of it. Now, you might even find around this full moon things that you're passionate about that you didn't know you were passionate about, right? And so it has the potential to open a lot of doors. Okay, and then around February 20th, we have a new moon. For you all, this new moon energy is bringing in the energy of the 7. And so this could be, around this new moon, a very spiritual time for you, a very like connected time. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be, spiritual, so to speak, but it's like this opportunity to connect to your higher self, your higher consciousness, your big ideas, your inspirations, the unseen, right? Like trusting yourself, trusting the universe type of energy around this new moon. There is definitely something here about expressing yourself creatively in a way that feels like you're taking your big ideas serious, and you're turning them into something very tangible. And this is the initiation for that. This is planting the seeds. So set your intentions, call in the people that you need to call in to do this work, whatever this work may be. This can also be about very much like, again, expressing yourself in a way that feels very authentic, and in a way that's allowing you to share those ideas, those more like mystical sort of unseen ideas, and turning them into something very practical. So this is also a 7 universal year. So again, you may feel this new moon very potently, because again, it's the energy that you're working with this month for February. But it's definitely asking you to get to the truth of something, whether that's your own personal truth or the truth about a situation or whatever the case may be, but also honoring and trusting those big ideas and inspirations and intuitive hits that are coming in for you around this time, whether it's through your dreams or through something someone says or just an experience that you have. Definitely pay attention to that and dig deeper. This is also a great time around this new moon to start a new course of study, to join a workshop, anything that's going to, again, sort of expand your mind, allow you to sort of dance within your own independence and explore more deeply into the more sort of universal things, right? So exploring deeper into the unseen or the more taboo things, whatever the case may be. You may also find around this new moon that you feel called to sort of sink into your own solitude a little bit more and embrace your own company type thing. This can be a time when you can gain access to the big answers to the big questions, right? But it's going to take you sort of being open to it and exploring it. So beautiful energy for you all if you are in a personal month of 5 in February. Take care, everyone. Personal month of 6. If you are currently for February in a personal month of 6, this can bring the focus to the home, to the things closest to your heart. So those very intimate relationships, your friends, your very close friends, your romantic partnerships, your lifelong partner, your family, that sort of thing, and all things to do with the home environment, or your close-knit community. So it's very possible that you may see things come to the surface now that need to be sort of worked through as it has to do with the home. That can be those difficult conversations that we don't necessarily want to have, but that we need to have so that we can move forward in a healthy way. This can be about possibly setting healthy boundaries with family, with friends, that sort of thing as well. That can come to the forefront, and you may have experiences that sort of push you in that direction, right? That help you to have those conversations and to set those healthy boundaries. This can also be a time when you find that people sort of need you more. And again, those healthy boundaries come into play because you don't want to say yes to things that are going to overburden you or deplete you. You want to make sure that when you say yes, it's because you have the reserves or the capacity to be able to say yes to whatever that is. But you may see that people sort of need you more, or need your support and nurturing more at this time, which is totally fine. Just make sure that you have the capacity to offer that, right? To show up in that way. Because sometimes saying no is more of a service than saying yes if we're not capable at that time, emotionally, spiritually, physically, whatever. This can also be a time where you feel like you need more nurturing and support at this time. And so this is your opportunity. I mean, you really need to kind of speak up and say what you need and have those conversations. And if you don't necessarily have a close-knit family or a home environment that is supportive of that, this is a great time to reach out to someone who is trained to be able to offer that support and hold that space. So a therapist or a healer or whatever comes to mind for you that works. There's no shame in that. And so this year or this month may bring that to light of where it is maybe you need some additional support and nurturing, and that's okay. Definitely honor that. Now we also have, I do also want to mention, this can also bring to light things around finances with the home. So you may see a change in a partner's financial situation or your day-to-day life, which in turn changes the financial structure in some way. So that may also come to light. You also may see that you feel called to be more invested or a part of your closer community at this time. And so definitely honor that if that comes into play, whether that's through a meetup or joining a church or whatever comes to you that works for you. Now we're also in a universal 9 month. So definitely this is a time for nurturing and receptivity and the more feminine side of things. This is also a very spiritual period as well. Now 6 energy, which is what the energy that you're in this month, is all about love and unconditional love. And again, that nurturing energy. And you couple that with the 9 universal cycle, that very feminine sort of against very spiritual energy. This could be a very sensitive time for you where you also feel very connected more so like spiritually or through your dreams or through your intuitive hits, that sort of thing. So definitely pay attention to that. 9 energy, that's again the universal cycle for February. You could see some things come to closure around the home. So if there's something you've been dealing with or trying to work through, you could see the answers come in now, or some kind of solution to that. Or it could be that a child is moving out of the home or something like that. And so there's closure there, or change in that way. And so again, it sort of changes the environment. Or you could see someone coming in and then that changing the dynamic of the home environment. So any of those things could come to light at this time during this cycle. We have a full moon February 5th or 6th, depending on where you live within the world. And this will bring in for you all this energy of the 11-2 and the 12-3. So this is very creative energy. This is very inspiring energy. And so it's very much sort of encouraging you to follow from your heart center, what it is that you want to do, the conversations you want to have, your own sort of self-preservation type thing as well. So again, what inspires you? Are you saying yes to the things that inspire you, or are you only saying yes to the things that you feel obligated to? The combination of the 6 with the 11-2 is asking you to follow your heart's desires, to follow what ignites your spirit, and to do so with love, right? For self, for others, for whatever it is that you're investing your energy into. The 12-3 around this full moon will bring in that of the creativity as well as communication. So there's definitely something here around potentially having those conversations that sort of alleviate the chaos, the drama, the sort of hardships type thing. But sometimes having those conversations can be difficult at first. So again, wherever the inspiration hits you, or wherever you feel called to have those conversations or to start a new creative project, this is the time to do that. And this full moon is sort of illuminating where it is that those conversations need to be had, or some big new creative project is waiting in the shadows to be illuminated, to come to life. And so pay attention to those big ideas that come in for you. What inspires you? If you're saying no to it, why are you saying no to it, right? This is going to be a time to really take a closer look at that. That may also prompt those, a change within the home or conversations to be had in the home. So definitely creativity, inspiration, conversations, the written, the spoken word are all kind of coming up around this full moon. Now, February 20th, we have a new moon, and that new moon for you all is highlighting the energies of the 7. This is beautiful energy. This is very spiritual energy as well, because again, we're in this universal 9 cycle in February. You're now working with the 7 energy. So this very much for you all could be about bringing new things to life. For some of you, this could very well be quite literal, as in finding out you're pregnant either around the full moon or the new moon in February, or having those conversations about starting a family or starting the process of starting a family, whatever that could be for you, or having a baby. You might actually quite literally have a baby in February. That's possible too, around this new moon or the full moon as well. But with this 7 energy in a 6 personal month, again, this could be bringing things to from the more ethereal into the physical, as it has to do with your home life, your home relationships, or again, those very relationships that are close to your heart. So there are some things here where you're taking an idea and turning it into something. So it could be you have an idea to ask somebody out and then you go out on a date, right? So it could be that simple. Where again, it's sort of following your heart and taking the idea and turning it into something real. That's possible. And again, this is like a new moon, so it's the initiation. It's the start of something. It could also be about starting a business within your home that sort of incorporates, again, those beautiful big ideas, those inspirations, and turning them into something practical, something real, right? Something tangible. So incredibly beautiful. This can be a really highly sensitive, highly spiritual month for you all, because you're working with a lot of really sensitive energies with the 6, with the 7, the 11-2. Also with the 3, and then of course the universal cycle of the 9. So I mean, this could be a very enlightening month for you all. Pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to, again, the intuitive hits that come in, because they could all hold a lot of value for you this month. But yeah, definitely things around the home potentially cropping up, not anything to, be concerned about, but it's definitely things where it's going to sort of force you to have those conversations, or really encourage you to have those conversations, so that, again, you can move from a much lighter place, right? You and the other people as well. And so solutions can be found as well. So beautiful energy. Ultimately, it's going to encourage you to move from a space of inspiration and love this month. So incredibly beautiful. All right. And also to set and hold those healthy boundaries. All right. Take care, everyone. Personal month 7. If February is a personal month 7 for you, which we're also in a universal 7 year. So this 7 energy is very, very potent at this time. But if you're in a personal 7 month, this could bring about the need for more solitude, more self-reflection and contemplation. This can be more of a quiet cycle where, your calendar sort of eases up a little bit. You may still have a lot of invites to different things, but you may not feel compelled to go. You might want just your alone time. And that, I would say, when you're in a 7 cycle, absolutely, you are meant to honor that. So if you, again, just feel the need for some quiet time alone, or some time for self-soothing or rejuvenation, this is a great cycle to do that and to really schedule that time in for yourself. This can be a great time also for sort of expanding the mind, doing things that you enjoy that also help you to tap into your own personal wisdom and universal wisdom. So this can be a great time for, again, doing an online workshop, or reading a book, or taking a course, or enrolling to go back to school. You may not start this month, but this can be a great time to sign up for it and get the ball rolling. But this is a great time to dig deeper, to ask those big questions, to do that soul searching. This is a great time to pay attention to your dreams, because with 7 energy, it's like the channel to the more spiritual realms are wide open, right? And then we've also got the 9 universal month of February, which is very spiritual energy. So you could see that your dreams are very vivid and potent this month. Pay attention to what comes through there. Sometimes, there's not always a message that comes through. It's just sort of us releasing some of the energy from the day or the week or whatever. So that's also possible. But sometimes, when we have a dream and it feels very profound, we remember it, we can't get it off our mind. There's something there, usually, right? So this can be a month where your dreams come through really strongly, where it feels like a very sensitive and intuitive month. You can be more sensitive to the energies around you, to the energies of people that, you feel close to, even to the people that you don't feel close to. And so just be very cognizant of what's yours, what's not yours to work through and move through. This can also, again, be a time for investigative work. So getting down to the nitty gritty, getting down to the heart and the soul of a matter, right? Down to gaining clarity, whether that's, again, through not taking things at face value. That's a big 7 energy. Not taking things at face value, but digging deeper, whether that's through asking questions, or whether that's through doing your own research, whatever the case may be. But there may be some things that come up for you this month that need further investigation, right? You need to find the truth, or what that truth feels like for you around a certain situation. And because we're in a 9 universal month, collectively, this could bring about changes, right? So what this would sort of signify in a 7 personal month with a 9 universal cycle is that there could be, through your investigative work, right, you coming up with the answers, and you coming up with that truth and that clarity. And through that process, and once you get to that truth and that clarity, that sort of once you know it, you can't unknow it type thing. And so that can be the caveat for or the catalyst for change, right? For something changing within your circumstances, right? Bringing an ending, bringing something to closure, bringing something to fruition, right? Like, but it's kind of that, like, when we know something, when we truly, like, when we uncover something and we see the truth of the matter, right? We get down to the nitty gritty of it. You can't go back from that, right? And so then you're sort of forced to make changes. And so it's very possible that if you're in a personal 7-month with a 9 universal cycle, it's very possible that some of those things may come to light. Some very sort of big answers might come through. And through that, you might be forced to make some changes, or some things might need to fall away or be removed, so that you can sort of redirect and move in the direction of this newfound truth, so to speak. Now, February 5th and 6th, or February 5th or 6th, depending on where you live within the world, we have a full moon. And this full moon for you all would be bringing in, or sort of highlighting, the energies of the 12-3 and the 13-4. So with the 12-3, I'm really drawn to communication, clarification, like really being very like intent with your words and your actions, but how you communicate and the message that you try to get through, and making sure that there's integrity behind it, and making sure that, like, you're speaking your truth, right? There's also this energy around creation. So when we talk about 7 energy, this is bringing those big ideas, those inspirations, the unseen into the seen, right? Into something very tangible. So this full moon is highlighting the energy of the 3. So there could very well be something very creative that sparks for you this month, or especially around this full moon. Big ideas that come through, and the understanding of how to bring those big ideas to life could very well be coming in for you this month. There's also the energy of the 13-4. So something around communication, something around you needing to take the initiation when it comes to communicating, maybe potentially with others, that sort of thing. Or again, paying attention to the details. So communicating the details, perhaps, to open the lines of communication, or however it comes in for you. But there's definitely something here around change and transformation, and progression towards something that's of, like, more stable, more sound, because it's built on truth, because it's built on integrity, if that makes sense. So a lot coming in around this full moon, around communication. So there could be, like, communication that comes through for you, and that communication or clarity sparks the need for change, which you would have to initiate, right? So this is very, very possible, especially again given the 9 universal cycle of February. This change again around this full moon, whatever's coming to completion, whatever is now in the spotlight that sort of changes your perception or your ideas about something, or your belief systems about something, will, of course, be the catalyst for change. So that's very, very possible, especially under 13-4 energy. On February 20th, we have a new moon, and this new moon for you all is bringing in sort of a double dose energy of the 9. So again, though it is like, new moons are often associated with, like, new beginnings, setting new intentions, that's still relevant, right? But you've got, like, this concentrated energy of the 9 coming in around this new moon, coupled with that of the 7 personal month. This is very elevated, very spiritual, very, like, spiritual awakening kind of energy, right? Or an awakening kind of energy. So, and it's through that awakening that, again, it's like, once you know something, you can't unknow it. So you're then forced to make decisions, whether you stay continuing on that path or you make a decision to move along a different path. So I would say around this new moon, it's very likely that there will be some kind of change in belief systems, mindsets, perceptions, that will then spark a change in circumstances, potentially. And so, again, it's going to be up to you what that looks like. It's going to be it's probably tempting to stay in a situation that's known, but this energy is really going to be sort of encouraging and pushing you to move towards a much elevated, more expansive situation, right? And creating that through the changes that you make and the decisions that you make. I would also say absolutely around this new moon, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to the insights, the ideas, the inspirations, the intuition, and the intuitive hits or the psychic hits that come in for you around this time. This is an incredibly sensitive time around this new moon. So absolutely pay attention to what comes in for you and how you feel. And, you know, 9 energy is very receptive. It's very feminine energy. It's very sensitive. So this is not necessarily a time to take big action. It's more of a time to like close things out and then be receptive to what wants to come in and then plan, right? Like start your planning process for the changes that you want to make or the initiations you want to take or whatever. So really with all of this 9 energy and this strong 7 personal energy this month, there's a lot about, again, like self-reflection, contemplation, taking time for alone, getting to sort of move through the energies within yourself, and, you know, getting to know yourself better, so to speak. This is a beautiful, beautiful month for that. And also like asking the big questions and be open to receiving the big answers, because those answers may look different than what you expect them to look like. And they might sort of force you outside of your comfort zone a little bit in the months that follow. So very beautiful, sort of, again, like very soft, reflective, but also like, you know, the 7 is very much like, again, getting to the truth, like doing the investigative work, being very practical, being very focused. But it's more like turned inwards. So it's very much about self. So beautiful energies. But again, it's what we do with it. I'd also say pay attention to what comes up for you, holistically speaking, when it has to do with body, mind, spirit, because this could be a really pivotal month for you all in the insights that you receive about yourself, right? And it's through those insights that we then make decisions about how we move through the world. So again, it's a short cycle. It's only a month long, but it can be a very powerful one if you allow it to be, right? If you work with the energy. So especially with the energies coming through for the full and the new moon. So very beautiful. So take care, everyone. Bye for now. Personal month 8. If you are in a personal month of 8 in February, this can be bringing up themes around business, career. Your career could be the focus this month, or how you sort of make money or what you do with your money. So again, like philanthropy or redispersing funds or resources, or bringing justice to situations where there may be injustice type thing. This is a very powerful, or it has the potential to be a very powerful cycle. But career is really, or like your creative output can really be the focus. So this can be a time for where you change jobs, where you get a promotion, where you get recognition for the work that you've put in. Or this can be a time where you reach some kind of milestone in your work or your creativity, or, you know, your creative output, where it's, again, like something's coming to completion and then you're celebrating that and you're moving on to the next thing, or you're building on whatever this is. So very possible for sort of big wins and sometimes big losses when we're in an 8 cycle. But everything is sort of teaching us something, right? So there's something to be gained even through the losses, so to speak. So I would say things around money, money mindset, money management, making money, spending money, those can all come up under this cycle. Resources, so buying or selling a home, or land or something like that, or making an investment of sorts could come in. Taking risks is a big 8 energy, so this can be a time for taking big risks. We also have the energy of the 9 universal cycles, so that we're all kind of working with in February. So there could be some things coming to completion now. And that's why I'm kind of drawn back to that. This is more of an energy collectively where we're in receptivity mode, where we've already done the work. So now we're seeing the rewards of that. And so if you tie that into the energy of your personal 8 month, this can very much be about, again, like reaping the rewards from your big efforts, seeing a vision come to completion and like fruition type thing because of your efforts. This can be a time when people are coming to you seeking financial advice or business advice or your expertise. And so where you finally feel like the expert at something, and that's getting that recognition and people are seeing the worth of your contribution type thing. That's very possible. It can also be energy where is sort of karmic in a sense, where there's the need to deal with some power struggles and find the balance in those and kind of, like rebalance. If there's a power struggle and there's some kind of like someone that's overpowering or you're being overpowering or whatever, this can be a time where that sort of equalizes them. Again, through both parties' efforts, but that can come to completion at this time where you're kind of able to see eye to eye with others in a more sort of holistic way that helps to equalize that power. Anytime the 8 shows up in a cycle, it's begging for integrity. So it's really asking that, this can be a very successful month, but there has to be like the intent behind that success that has to do with the success of not only self, but of all type thing. It takes everyone into consideration in a way. And so anything sort of done under an 8 cycle that's very ego driven or very selfish can sort of have some more negative repercussions, right? That you'll learn a lesson from and you'll move through. But this is a time to also, like I said, just check the intent, check the integrity, and anything that sort of comes up in this cycle will be assisting you in doing that. And so it may be that you have choices to make around your purchasing power, your spending, your spending, or how you receive, right? Like how you receive money or help or resources, and what you do with your power or your influence. All of that can kind of come into light around an 8 cycle. And especially because, again, it's 9 universal energy that's also sort of in the mix. There's definitely something here around humanitarian energy, working with and for others, being in service to others, using your gifts for others in a way that benefits all, including you, right? So beautiful energy, very powerful energy is the key with 8 energy is to not let that power go to your head, right? Like to not let the accolades or all of that stuff go to your head to where you start to misuse the power or the influence or whatever or the money or whatever, right? That's sort of the dance with the 8 energy. It's going to require that you step up in integrity with that. And in the places where you don't or you can't for some reason, then you'll just see the consequences of that, right? That you'll need to move through. Now, we do have a full moon on February 5th or 6th, depending on where you live in the world. Now, this full moon for you all is highlighting the energies of the 13-4 and the 14-5. So this is big, like change kind of energy, big transformative energy of the 13-4, which is like death, transformation, rebirth. It's very much like Pluto energy. Then you have the energy of the 14-5, which is very much like shifts and change and sort of lightning bolt change, like unexpected change. So this full moon could bring in very unexpected change when it comes to your status, your place in the world, the power, stepping into your power, how you hold your power, what you do with your power, what you do with your influence, the influence that you have, all those things, all those kind of like 8 energy vibrations, right? You could see quite a dramatic change. It is a very short cycle, right? It's only a month long, but you could see with this much potent change energy, some kind of massive or major transformation that sort of, because the 5 is involved, I would say is somewhat unexpected. And it's going to be like how well you adapt to that and how you move through that and what you do with that, right? And it might not be that you are experiencing these massive changes. It might be that someone that you know is, and you have to sort of hold space or be that support system for that person. That's also very possible. So it might be like one of your friends or family members having a financial crisis and you need to assist in some way, whatever that means for you. That's very possible because when the 5 is involved, again, it's sort of like often changes or situations that we tend to feel uncomfortable in, and we need to find our comfort in it. Like we need to find our footing type thing. So around this full moon, there could be some things coming to completion, and that completion then causes change. Again, either expected or unexpected, that's very possible. The other thing I would say about the 14-5 energy is that it's very possible that there's been something where you've been so focused on the minute details that you're missing the bigger picture. And so this full moon is sort of illuminating a greater space, a greater awareness. And so you're able to see things through a much bigger scope, a much bigger lens. And so I would say this 14-5 energy around this full moon is asking you to think unconventionally, to think outside the box, to think of ways to do things that might be different than what you would normally do, especially when it comes to business, influence, status, power, money, whatever. There's definitely this call around this full moon to look at things differently, to see things a little bit from a different vantage point that may feel uncomfortable and may feel like, just outside the norm. So very unconventional. And so you may have to do some changing, right? Whether it's with your belief systems or in your physical location or whatever, to adapt to this new understanding or this new insight, right? Like something's presented to you that's outside the norm, but that makes sense. But again, it's outside the norm. So what do you do, right? And so it's how can you incorporate it? How can you integrate it? So beautiful energy there. And again, I would say it probably would shift back to something with finances, resources, your place in the world, your power, owning your power, anything like that, right? Anything 8 energy, any of those vibrations. Now around, February 20th, we have a new moon. For you all, this is bringing in the energy of the 10-1. And what I love about this is big, powerful energy. And when it's coupled with the 8, this can be just so powerful for you as far as, again, like all things associated with the 8 energy. So again, think like business, career, power, influence, status, resources, money, other people's money, clients, business partnerships, really any of those like material plane type things, like the materialization of things, right? That 8 energy coupled with the 10-1 is all about, and a new moon, which is all about like initiations, big risks, taking big risks, getting started on something, setting your intentions, again, like going for it, finding the confidence. The 8, I can't even speak. It's so exciting. The 8 energy and the 1 energy is very ambitious energy, and you put them together and this is like just a forest fire. So really it's going to be also about like finding ways to contain that energy and use it for good and to use it to sort of propel you forward in the direction that you want to move forward. I would say because we're also in a universal 9-month that this might not be the month that you start whatever this is, but it's at the end of the month. It's February 20th. So I would say this is probably when you're going to get like some, if it's meant to come in for you, you're going to get some big downloads, big opportunities, big potential for huge new starts with this 8 and 10-1 energy. The 10, you've got the energy of the 0, which is a clean slate, a new beginning. So whatever has kind of closed out or fallen away or you're meant to build upon now, you're starting with a clean slate around this new moon. And that gives you, the freedom to create however you want to create, or it could bring in financial freedom. And now you have the freedom financially to be able to invest or do whatever it is, or to redistribute that wealth, whatever you choose to do. But the 0 is like that, the idea of like, something starting from nothing, and the nothing is just so expansive that you get to decide what that something is, right? So beautiful, beautiful energy. And then of course the 1 is the trailblazer, taking big risks, doing something inventive, being the visionary, taking big strides in something and finding your confidence to do that. 8 energy and 1 energy are both very confident, ambitious, driven energies. So there's something here that wants to move through you in a really big way, especially because this 10-1 is coming in for you all at a new moon while you're in an 8 cycle. So definitely pay attention to what comes in. Whatever it is that you start around this new moon has the potential to have a very big impact. And so I would go back to the integrity, right? Like make sure that the reason why you're doing it is sound and good and feels aligned and all those things, and potentially has the potential to impact not just you, but others as well in a good way. But yeah, this is big, getting started energy. Like this is the visionary, and then you've got the power of the 8 behind you to kind of see you through and to bring in the resources that would be needed to make this happen type thing. Of course, you're the puppeteer, right? You're the one that's like holding the strings, and you're the one that has to take the action. But the energy is just a chef's kiss. Like, wow, you all are working with some big positive energy. If you want to make a difference and create big things and take big, find that confidence and have a big start in something, this is great energy for that. It's really like fueling the fire. And so this is very like Mars energy in a big way. So, and then you've also got like all that kind of potential for change and sort of redistribution sort of the energy around the full moon. So this could be a really pivotal month for you all. Very, very pivotal. And again, it's what we do with the energy that makes the difference. It's through our choices, but you're set up this month for some potentially to make some great big strides in whatever it is that you're trying to put into motion. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Personal month number 9. If you are in a personal month number 9 for February, not only do you have this strong 9 energy that you're working with for the month of February personally, but you also have it collectively because we are in a 9 universal month as well. So you're really got this sort of concentrated energy coming through the month of February to really work with the lessons and the wisdom of this vibration, which is incredibly beautiful. So for you all, there could be, this is not necessarily a time for starting new things. This is more of a time for you've already created your web, and now you're kind of sitting back and seeing what comes to you and what gets sort of caught in your web, right? Like you've already done the work, you've already put forth the effort type thing. And so not to say there's not going to be things that you can't start or won't start this month, but there's going to be things where you've already invested everything you need to invest into it, and now it's time to sort of reap those rewards. So it's time to kind of like put the brakes on some areas, right? Like if it feels like you're having to force something, that's where you need to put the brakes on and just kind of fall back into receptivity mode and see what comes to you now. Because when we get to the point where we have to try to force something, that means we've already done everything we can do at that point, and now we turn it over, right, to the unseen to deliver whatever it is that's meant for us. So there could be a lot of that this month where, again, it's sort of like you start to feel like no matter what you do, you're not seeing results, or you keep hitting a wall, or like it feels like you're forcing, right? Those are the places you need to just surrender. I know it's easier said than done, but surrender and let whatever needs to come to you because you've already done what you need to do. Also with this is a highly spiritual energy. Now, whether you're spiritual or not, it's just sort of this tapped into the unseen, so to speak. So it's kind of like this can be like an opportunity to really get to know yourself better, right? Your higher consciousness, your own soul, your own being. This can be a great month for that, where big insights can come in, like just through you, right? Like through your inner knowing. And again, it's going to be what you choose to do with that energy and what you choose to do with those insights. That, of course, will make the difference in your own experience. But this can be a month where you might have very, very vivid and profound and even prophetic dreams. This can be a time where you just feel incredibly sensitive to energy. So be very mindful of like, what's yours? What are you picking up that's not yours? You know, sometimes it's easy when we're very sensitive to energy to pick up other people's gunk and then feel like it's ours and then have to try to move through it. So just kind of, be very aware of what's yours and what isn't yours. What feels like it's yours to move through and what feels like it's somebody else's, and where can you release it? This can also bring in a time for release, right? So there could be things that sort of fall away now, relationships, work projects, certain jobs, certain just projects, whatever, can now sort of fall away because of completion. Like they've served their purpose and now they're being removed for whatever reason, whether that's you removing it, you tying up loose ends, or the universe kind of coming in and removing it for you. That's also possible. But in that removal creates the space for the new opportunities, right? So it's kind of like with the 9 energy, it's like, there's sort of this it's sort of paradoxical, right? So you have like the potential for these endings to come in, or things being tied up with a nice bow and being completed and being removed. But then you also have like, through that, the rewards, the recognition, the acknowledgements, the, accolades, whatever, the promotions, the whatever. So sort of this ebb and flow, right? And as something comes in, something else must go out type thing, or as something goes out, something else comes in type thing to fill that space. So it's kind of like that kind of month. And there really isn't a whole lot of effort that you need to put in this month for that to happen. It's sort of like you've already did all that work, right? 1 through 8. And so the 9 is sort of, again, just like your time to reap those rewards. So it's incredibly beautiful. It can be challenging, and it is a short cycle, right? It's only a month long, but it can be challenging to release the control, or to actually be able to see when something is done, right? And to stop forcing for more. So very, very powerful, potentially very powerful month for you all. And again, because we have it in a universal cycle. So it's just sort of that energy is just very concentrated for you all. Now, around February 5th and 6th, we have a full moon. So depending on where you live, it'll be on the 5th or the 6th. For you all, this is bringing in the energies of the 14-5 and the 15-6. So what's interesting about this is the 14-5, I feel like there's some area, and I'm going to say it's probably around the home life, because we do have the 15-6 energy. So it could be around like home, love relationships, very close friendships, very close, family members, that sort of thing, or your close community. There could be some things around this full moon that come in for you where you've been very focused on, like hyper focused on the details, or sort of like the mundane, very like, more rigid sort of aspects. Like, again, you're just sort of drilled down so close, or you're too close to the situation, I think is what I'm trying to say. So it's like you're too close to the situation, or too embedded in the details, that you're missing a bigger picture. And the bigger picture is going to bring the clarity. In this situation, whatever this full moon is illuminating, the clarity is not necessarily going to come through the details, because I feel like you're so enmeshed in whatever this is that it's harder for you. It's kind of like that saying, like, you can't see the forest for the trees. That's what whatever this is feels like. So, and it feels like it's something to do with around the home for you, or finances with the home, partners' finances, something like that. But there's something where it's like you're too emotionally attached to this, so, and too close to it, that you're not seeing the bigger picture. And so you're being asked to sort of pan out and see the bigger picture, become the observer for a moment, and that's going to bring you the clarity. So, and it could also require, this is very possible with this 14-5 and 15-6 energy, it is very possible that you are going to be challenged in some way around like your mindset or belief systems that are too conventional. So where you might have like very rigid thinking about something, or you're sort of set in your ways when it comes to things with home and family, you might get tested here and be challenged to see things from a broader perspective and from a much more sort of global viewpoint, right? Or adjust your thinking to a more unconventional way of thinking, right? So, and because the 5 is there, this could be something that's like uncomfortable, right? So something that forces you outside of your comfort zone to see things from a bigger perspective, that challenges your conventionality, right? So whatever that may be, but really this energy around this full moon is whatever it focuses on is is simply, not simply, because it's not always easy, but is asking you to be open-minded when it comes to whatever this is, because chances are it's going to be outside your comfort zone. It's going to be outside your frame of reference and outside of your, like how you're used to doing things. And so it's going to sort of force you to find a way to adapt and be open to this new insight, whatever this is. Or again, it could be like your children doing something that is very natural and normal for them in this day and age, but maybe the way you were raised was totally different. And so now you're kind of being forced to either adapt and see things from a broader perspective and find ways to, again, sort of adapt, or stay stuck in your ways and create a rift and then all that. So there's kind of a lot coming in around this potentially. Now, again, this is a general reading, so it may or may not affect you this way. But this is very strongly coming in with the 14-5 and the 15-6 energies. So just be aware of that. And just whatever comes in, just try to move with it. Just see where it takes you without dismissing it too quickly. And again, if it's not something that comes in for you that challenges your belief systems, or, asks you to sort of think more unconventionally, then it may be that someone that you're very close to is moving through something like this, where they're being faced with something that challenges their belief systems pretty strongly, and they're being asked to move through that and figure it out, and you might be called to assist with that. And then we have a new moon on February 20th. Now, new moons are typically new starts, new beginnings, setting intentions, getting started on something new. And I wouldn't say, because we're in a 9 universal cycle and you are in a 9 personal month, I don't really see this as a time to start big new ventures, but this is a great time to plan. This is a great time to set those intentions. So with all of these open channels to the unseen, with all of this 9 energy that you all are working with, you could very well get some pretty big insights and inspiration. And also around this new moon, you're working with 11-2 energy. That is the inspirational leader. So it is very likely that around some area of your life, you're going to be getting some major downloads, very strong, passionate, inspirational ideas coming through, and you are absolutely meant to explore them and investigate them and see how you want to work with them and what you want to do with them. Could very well bring up things around relationships. So this could be a great time to meet a soulmate, meet a lifelong partner. This is very very beautiful energy in that sense, and very divinely guided in a sense as well. So can also bring in karmic relationships as well. So a relationship that's meant to really teach you something about yourself or whatever. Very beautiful, very powerful, but very insightful and inspirational. So you are absolutely meant to follow your inspirations and your dreams, and any of those beautiful insights that come in that are more ethereal. You're absolutely meant to play with them and plan with them and see where they take you, especially around this new moon. Absolutely around this new moon. Very beautiful. So I would say if you have dreams, significant dreams or significant insights around this new moon, write them down. It might not be that you're doing anything with them this month of February, but it might become very significant in the months and years to follow. So incredibly beautiful energy. For you all, I would say the veil is very thin, and so there could be some very strong insights coming through, and just that feel so ethereal, that just feel like they're so divinely guided. So pay attention to those synchronicities, and again, just your gut feeling, your intuition, all those beautiful, the soul, right? So I hope it is a beautiful February for you all. I think it will be. Again, it's what we do with the energy, but you all are set up beautifully. So I hope it's a great February. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.